want to welcome you to the Barbershop Talk with my friend, my brother, the Bishop Derrick L. McRae. We're talking about identity today. We're talking about who God made you to be. We're actually getting ready for a conference called I'm Him. IamHIM.tv. It's September 12th through the 14th. And I'm telling you, brothers, you don't want to miss it. Go sign up today. IamHIM.tv. My friend, my brother, Bishop Derrick McRae, how you doing today, brother?
What's going on, man? Doing good, man. Can't complain. Hustling and working. But anything else would be uncivilized.
Uncivilized. Listen, y'all don't know it, but me and Bishop, we came up together. Me and Bishop have been lifelong friends, and I know him. I respect him as a man of God, a father, a husband, an entrepreneur, a bishop, and y'all don't know it. He's an amazing musician as well. Come on, tell him about some of the hats that you wear, Bishop.
Man, listen, what's amazing is the other day I was watching social media, and I saw this clip where a guy had a cymbal that was leaning against the seat and had a snare drum that they had just taken out of a bag. And all I thought about was the boom, pow,
come on,
that you always talk about, man. But I'm senior pastor at Experience Christian Center, celebrating 15 years.
Founder and senior pastor,
Founder
right?
and senior pastor.
Come on.
Which is a tough task to be. So I'm senior pastor there. I'm also the president of the African American Council of Christian Clergy.
About how many pastors are represented there?
Man, we say about 70, 80 pastors that are in there as well. But we also give voice to the Central Florida community as it relates to African American churches within our city. And then I sit on several boards in the city as well, man, which I'm proud of as well. So just trying to do the work for the people and be as relevant as possible, trying to bridge gaps.
Well, if they don't know it, if you want to be connected, you got to get with a connector. Let me tell you, if you don't know how to cultivate relationships as a man, you'll miss out on some of the opportunities that God has for us. Our identity as a protector in our homes and in our families is a big thing. And our connector, our friend, our brother, the bishop, he knows how to not only cultivate relationships, but cultivate relationships that cause protection for his family, his organization, and even his businesses. Bishop, tell him a little bit about how you do it. How do you do what you do?
Man, first of all, I believe that we exist to be accountable for assignments.
Oh, that's good.
I believe assignments is the lane, and I think it should be our conversations that we're having as well. Too often we're not talking assignments enough. And when we're not talking assignments, I think it allows us the opportunity to miss out on key directional movements for us.
Ooh, that's good.
So we were all born, and I like to say that when you were born, God made the world a promise. When you were born, God made the world a promise. God watched you be created. He watched you become fearfully and wonderfully made.
Okay.
And with all those talents and all those things he's given to you, he's given it to you for you not just to exist for yourself, but it's for you to be that person that is also existing for the community at large. When we begin to think even further about that, we begin to come into this realization that we're called to be the priest to provide and to protect us for our homes.
Come on.
And that's much more than just the physical. That's also in the spiritual. We're called to help also create nations within us. And I'm real big on creating the nations. And so there are strategic moves that I make today that has nothing to do with me, but it has everything to do with my great-grandkids.
Wow.
And so we have to think generationally. One of the ills that I have for especially African-American men is that we don't do a good job of creating platform for nations. We do a great job of creating platforms for status, but not for nations.
Bishop, you said platforms for status.
Platforms for status.
And I think that has a whole lot to do with assignment and purpose. How important is it to have another man who is proficient in an area or who has gone before to show you what you should be doing? How important is it for you to understand? See, somebody had to help you understand that the platform was not for status.
Yeah.
It's for generations.
Yeah.
Because the Bible even says that a good father leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Yeah. And so how did you go from the place where this is not about me, but this is about my legacy, about my heritage, about my posterity? How do you?
I think the first thing I had to do was I had to tap into my actual existence. Why am I here? Ooh. So often we spend so much of our time trying to figure out purpose, and sometimes the neglect of understanding of purpose leads us to be always in practice. And so we're always trying to figure out how to do
Bishop,
something.
let's back that thing up. You said when we're out of purpose, it leads us to be in practice.
In practice.
Oh, come on, that's good.
So we never get to get in the game. When you know who you are, you play. Practice is designed for development, but at some point in time, we have to get into execution. And many of us aren't executing because we're still trying to find out who we are. Now, it becomes even more dangerous when you're working to find out who you are when you're also carrying other people. It's a dangerous thing.
And I think that's a big challenge and a frustration for our brothers today.
Yeah.
Not only do they not know who they are or what they should be doing, now they have families, they have communities, they have people who are looking to them as to what they should be doing. And so here's a big plug. That's why you need to come to I'm Him this year. We have a dynamic group of men of God, fathers, businessmen, husbands, pastors, bishops, apostles, all of these different things who have not only found their purpose, but have become proficient in walking in that purpose and also proficient in teaching other brothers how to discover and walk in their purpose. One of which is my friend, my brother, Bishop Derrick. Come on, Bishop, so give us a little bit of your background. How did this come to be? Come on, tell me about it.
Man, actually, I come from a very humble beginning. And we hear it all the time in church. No, but I really mean it. So at the age, my mom had me at the age of 18. My dad was 17. My mom, so it was their last year of high school. My mom goes off to Florida State University, go Noles. My dad goes off to Florida State Penitentiary, go lock up. And so it's a very, very different pattern, which forced me to live with my grandparents early. So I lived with my grandmother, my grandfather for the first about 6-7 years of my life. Got my foundations from them. My grandfather was one of the major club owners in the city, and so
so he wasn't a bishop?
No, my grandfather wasn't nowhere close to church, man.
Okay.
My grandfather used to say, "I'm coming to church for 2 reasons: a funeral and a wedding, and both individuals better be extremely close to me, or I'm not going at all." So that was his thing. He's now come to Christ and is phenomenal in church now.
Man, that's awesome.
But for years, man, it was just my grandmother and me. And my grandmother taught me a lot of those basic principles. My grandfather was a janitor in the morning, and then he ran the club at night. It was all for his benefits that he would do that for. But he taught me work ethics. He taught me how to carry a family. And watch this. He was carrying a family and doing what was right, even though he wasn't saved.
Oh, Bishop. Now, that's a big one because we got a whole bunch of people that's claiming to be saved, but they're not taking care of their family.
Yeah. And sometimes I think we over-spiritualize some things.
Come on.
We over-spiritualize some things. As a man, we just have responsibilities.
Okay.
And I don't care what your day is feeling like, you still have a responsibility. Mm-hmm. Now, we don't have to carry responsibilities that exist outside of our homes, but we do have to carry the responsibilities that are in our homes.
You know, the bishop, the Bible says that any man who doesn't provide for his own, this is what it says, especially those in his own household, has denied the faith and is worse than somebody who don't even believe in God. It's funny, I thought of that as soon as you said, well, my grandfather wasn't a spiritual man, wasn't a Christian man per se, but he still provided for his home.
Yeah.
But there are people who are Christian and spiritual and speak in tongues and do all of that crazy stuff, and they don't provide for their homes. And God said they're worse than somebody who don't even believe in me.
And can I say that I think a lot of times we're finding this case in the church because we spend so much time in imagination world.
Come on.
We don't spend enough time actually in responsibilities, man. Like we take on the pressures of somebody else because we're sometimes in competition. Ooh. Sometimes we're trying to be what somebody else's assignment is.
Come on.
And sometimes we're living in frustrations where we can't even focus on our expectations or those things that are expected of us in our own homes.
Bishop, I think sometimes we get so busy looking to the left and to the right, and especially with this social media thing, y'all. I know we're on social media even right now, but a lot of times we're comparing ourselves to stuff that's not even real.
Yeah.
I would dare somebody, especially watching the cooking. I like to watch people that cook online and all of that. But if you turn that camera around, you probably wouldn't eat anything out of their house.
Nothing. Because it ain't clean.
It ain't clean. and half of that stuff that they're showing you ain't even real.
Yeah.
And so
much of social media is not real. And we have to also, as men, we got to be careful in what we allow our minds to entertain.
Oh, come on, Bishop.
Because our imaginations will take us places that our assignments never defined for us.
Oh, man, that's good.
And you can't be graced or anointed in anything that you weren't assigned.
So Bishop, so all of that, you can be anything or do anything you want to do. I threw that out of the window years ago because I say this: your assignment and your purpose is not your decision; it's your discovery.
Right.
I feel like whatever God called you to do, it's up to you to get in His presence and feel and find out what it is, and then walking and fulfilling that purpose will provide fulfillment and destiny and fruition into your life. What you think about that?
I just said this to the church the other day. I said, God is not interested in you rewriting your destiny.
Oh, say that one more time, Bishop, because I don't want anybody to miss that. Come on.
God is not interested in you rewriting your destiny.
Mm-hmm.
God is interested in you getting in His face.
Come on.
To discover what He's already given you grace to accomplish.
Oh, that's good.
Too many of us are stressed.
Mm-hmm.
Too many of us are feeling like we're inadequate, all because we're trying to function in spaces that we're not graced for.
Mm-hmm.
You are the only one that can do your assignment.
Mm-hmm.
When you embody that and you take it on, you no longer feel the pressures of a Russ.
Come on.
Because you're in a grace of a Derrick.
Derrick, Bishop, if you take a fish and you put him out there in the grass, he'll look like a failure.
Totally.
Just same thing. If you take a bird and you put him in the ocean, he'll look like a failure.
Yeah.
But if you take that same fish and you put him in the water, he'll swim better than Michael Phelps.
I love it.
If you take that same bird and you throw him up in the air, he'll fly better than a G550.
Yeah.
And so fulfilling your purpose not only adds wealth and adds fulfillment into your life, but it also causes you to shine, if you will. It causes you, because walking in what God called you to be, He didn't make any failures.
Right.
He made successful men and successful women. And so even on this platform, we're just telling brothers how to be successful.
How to be successful.
Can you give us one or two keys for brothers? Come on.
It's not hard to be successful. I think the first place of success has to be confidence.
Oh, come on.
You got to walk in confidence.
Come on.
Maybe God didn't anoint you to be multimillionaire.
Okay.
And you don't have to be multimillionaire to be successful.
No.
We've allowed the world to paint to us what success looks like.
And even what rich looks like.
And what rich looks like.
Come on.
Because I know people today, you know people today, that they may make $1 million a year, but at the end of the year, their bank account is still saying 10,000. So what's the difference in your end of the year 10,000 and I make 100,000? My end of year says 30.
And so this is how I define it, Bishop. Wealth is simply this. Wealth is not a money word; it's a supply word.
I love it.
And so you're rich if you have more than enough of God's supply to complete His assignment for your life. Mm-hmm. So we see people, especially we seeing all the players, they've been getting these extensions, 200, 275, 300 million. I think that's amazing.
Ooh.
Bless God for you. But if you have $200 million, we'd say you were rich. But if your assignment was $300 million, you had a $300 million assignment and you only had a $200 million, you're poor.
You're poor.
And so, but if, let's say you took another brother and he has $100,000, you wouldn't say he was rich. You say he was doing okay, but his assignment is only $50,000.
He's rich.
So he's rich. So I think we got to redefine what our success is based upon our specific assignment.
And that only comes from this very simple platform, because the church is working so hard on, well, tell me my purpose. Tell me my purpose. Stop asking us to tell you your purpose. The way that you find your purpose is 3 simple steps.
Come on, let's
Number 1, you have to have a prayer life.
Come on, Bishop.
Number 2, what am I praying? I have to read His word. Number 3, how do I exercise? I have to get involved in worship. If you do those 3 things, you have the fulfillment of your purpose. God is going to speak. And if God has not spoken, sometimes our assignments are so meaty and so heavy that He don't say it all at one time, which
he
requires us
reveals
to stay in His presence.
That's from faith to faith, from glory to glory. I love how you said you got to be in prayer. That means spending time talking to God. You got to be in His word, getting familiarized with how He talks. Because I love how Bishop Jake said this. He says there's a difference between knowing the words and knowing the author. And so when you get to know the author, you'll understand what he did say and what he didn't say.
Yeah, and why he said it.
And why he said it. And then when you get in worship, He reveals things to me. In worship, He cuts things off of me that shouldn't be. And then I want to take it a step further, Bishop. You need to get with somebody who is fulfilling their purpose, because the scripture tells us, until you're faithful in that which is another man's,
Mm-hmm.
why should God even give you your own?
Yeah, and when you think about us, where we are now, a lot of people may look at us and like, oh, but you are this, you are that. Man, I served a pastor for years.
Come on.
In Church of God in Christ.
Come on. Mm-hmm.
I served him for years. I left there finally, which was my home church, the church that you and I met at.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I finally left there, because I'm not a church hopper, I'm an assignment finder.
Absolutely.
I left there and I went to a Baptist church, totally different
totally
than
different.
the church that I grew up in. Mm-hmm. When I went to that church, I served that
Faithfully.
pastor faithfully for years.
Absolutely.
I believe that my level of success has been gifted to me because of my level of deposit.
Come on. No deposit, no withdrawal.
It's against the law.
It's against law. So if I went to the bank that I have no account at and I took out $10,000, I would be immediately arrested because I robbed the bank.
Yep. And I'm not coming to see you.
You're not coming
and
to see me,
And we put
Bishop.
nothing on your books.
You're not even going to put no dollars on my books.
Jail is ministry, but jail is not visitation of friendship for me.
Come on. Say I can get delivered in prison ministry. But the truth of the matter is, as you serve, as you sow, as you submit, you're qualifying for your next level. So, brothers, I don't care who tell you you don't need a pastor. You need a pastor.
You definitely do.
And not only do you need a pastor, you need to start serving and submitting and sowing into the life of that man of God or woman of God, and also the ministry where they serve. Because whatever, you don't realize it, they're qualifying for something.
They are.
People think that you got where you got overnight, Bishop.
Oh, no.
So, Bishop, you didn't just wake up one day and say, I'm starting Experience Christian Center, and people going to come from all over, and they're going to minister. No, that didn't happen, did it, Bishop?
My journey started at FAM. It was at FAMU.
Come on.
I didn't know why. I've always been a musician. I didn't know why I didn't get to stay out there on the patch with the Marching 100.
Come on.
The Lord had me to go to the gospel choir.
And boy, y'all made the best album ever. I'm literally, best choir album, still my favorite to this day. What year was that, Bishop?
Man, that was 1994.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I was still in high school.
Don't do that. Don't do that to me. don't. Now, that's what we're not going to do.
Okay, bitch. We won't tell our age. We just a couple years apart. Don't get it twisted.
So I didn't know why I was going into the gospel choir. I went to the gospel choir. I started playing drums there. That was my talent, right? God used my talent to also position me to become the business manager of the choir.
Come on.
I became the business manager because I always had a business acclimate to my life. But then he moved me to being the president of the choir.
Come on.
The president of the choir was very similar to a pastor.
Come on.
So I had my music ministry. I had to do the business of the ministry. I traveled the ministry. I had to care for the people in the ministry, and I had to do payroll.
So the Lord was preparing you so many years. It sounded like David. You know, he was killing a lion and a bear a long time before he killed the giant.
Watch this. He was preparing me for what I didn't want. I didn't want this. I didn't even see this. It took me years later, which shows me when you stay in the face of God, he would take you on steps that are unexplainable, but it does not mean they're not purposeful.
Yeah, and also it doesn't mean just because you don't want it today, that doesn't mean it won't provide fulfillment and actually support for your life in the future.
Yeah.
Because as you participate in God's plan, when you do something in your life, you make a commitment that I'm going to do what God told me to do. You trigger the supernatural power of God to get behind you. He opened doors of favor. Yeah. He puts your name on the minds of people who don't even know you.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact he's done that for myself, but I know he does that for you, Bishop.
Man, listen, people that I never thought would connect with me, people I never thought would open doors. Matter of fact, people who have not liked me have also spoke about me.
Come on.
Which opened doors for me. And when we talk about this protection mode, man, we got to recognize this, that we got to learn how to pray, first of all. Sometimes we're praying and we're inviting things into our lives that have nothing to do with our destinies.
Oh, come on.
I've learned in prayer just to sit in the presence and just meditate.
Bishop, that's kind of awkward for most guys. Because, I always, especially when you're learning how to pray, it gets awkward because you want to be saying something, but sometimes we need to just sit there and meditate. Come on, tell them about that, Bishop.
If we listen to the model prayer, we call it the Lord's Prayer, but it's really just the model prayer.
Okay.
When we listen to the model prayer, he says, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Okay.
Which means I am not infusing my will. I'm asking you for your will. Because watch this. Everything that God purposed for you, he's already given provisions for you.
Ooh, say that one more time, Bishop. Come
everything that God has purposed for you, he's already given provision for you. We tend to work like a chicken with our necks cut off.
Come on.
Because of the fact that we're usually functioning outside of our grace.
You know, it's so much toil and so much struggle when we function outside of the grace that God called us to function unto. But, you know, he gives us something called sweatless victories when we function in our grace. That's now, right. I'm not saying it's going to be, because it's going to be challenges.
It's going to be challenges.
Come on, they're going to always be challenges.
Challenges of elevation.
But what did he tell Paul? My grace is sufficient for you. And so, but his grace isn't sufficient if I'm operating outside of it.
But watch this. Even my grace is sufficient for you. He's trying to show him that when you think you're weak, I'm necessary. I want you to remember this, that no matter how far you go in life, God is always going to create a pocket of space to be needed.
Wait, Bishop. Wait. Well, wait, hold on. I want to say this. Listen, you need to register for I'm Him today. It's September 12th through the 14th. You're going to get to hear wisdom from a man of God like this, from this man of God, Bishop Derrick McRae. Listen, you need to register today. IMHIM.TV. Say that one more time, Bishop. That was too good. Good.
No matter how far you go in life, no matter how much you've achieved, no matter how great your status is, no matter how great your credentials are, God will always create space to be needed. When you discover this, he says, my strength is made perfect. Here it is where? In your weakness.
Oh, that's good.
Where you are weak is where he gets to show up to tell you that he is strong. So why do we need him to be strong? Because that's for your next movement.
Come on,
because
Bishop.
Every part of faithfulness is not rest. Faithfulness means that now you rule higher.
So that means a higher level of work.
Higher level of work.
A higher level
He
of
says you've been
commitment.
faithful over a few things. Now what?
I'll make you ruler
over what?
Many things.
So your faithfulness was not rest. Your faithfulness, your reward is to rule greater.
So that means here it is. Responsibility and authority.
Yes.
Everybody has responsibilities. How you handle those responsibilities determine the degree of authority you're allowed to wield.
Yes.
And you're going to learn this when you come to I'm Him this year. Listen, I know we're out of time. We're not out of word, but we are definitely out of time. I want you to go ahead and register today. IMHIM.TV. IMHIM.TV. It's this year's men's conference. It's I'm Him. We're talking about identity. I don't want you to miss it. Bishop, will you come back and talk to us again?
Man, I'd love to come back, man. This has been great.
This has been great. We're going to talk to you real soon. I'm Pastor Russ. This is Bishop Derrick McRae. We love you. We'll see you real soon.